What's happening? It's 7 p.m. It's Tuesday night. Here's my Tuesday night 7 p.m. live stream. I don't know. Had a lot on my mind today. So I'm going to break down just some different things, give you my thoughts. It might be a little bit of a ramble. I'm going to do my best not to. But hey, if anybody joins in and listens, great. Awesome. Why don't we just get started here? And if you have any comments, you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop me a comment, shoot me a message on Instagram, any of that stuff. Would love to hear from you. But first thing on my mind today, should there be a weight limit in the open division? Man, think about it. I mean, you have weight class strongman, and when we really think about the sport of strongman, I'm thinking about it from my perspective as a promoter. I'm active in the 80 kilo weight category. It's really interesting that you get to the highest levels where you have 105 kilo and then it's open past that. Or even in Strongman Corp, they now have a 120 kilo division, that's 275, and then open. It's really interesting to think about at OSG in the heavyweight division. You could have somebody that's 236 pounds up against somebody that is 500 pounds. Fair is fair, I guess. Whatever. Maybe it's not fair. I don't know. Just rambling. But this leads to a bigger question of a lot of people think mass moves mass, and a lot of people lean into this strongman aesthetic, or so they think, and bulk up and are completely delusional and unattached from their figure and their body. I was once there. When this was about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, actually, it's 2025. In 2017, I was like, I'm sick of being weak. I'm going to bulk. I'm going to gain 40 pounds, and all my lifts are going to go up. So I went from about 185 to 225, put on a ton of weight. I did a diet of 12 burritos every day, 12 steak and egg burritos every single day. And while some of my lifts did go up, it was really only marginally. I felt like crap, and it took me a long time to get all of that weight off. It actually took me years and years and years and years. That was a big mistake I made. But people are very incorrect in thinking that you have to be a certain size. So I would like to offer to you, whoever's watching me here, I see we got 3 tuned in. Is your extra weight really helping you? As I'm going through getting ready for World's Strongest Manatee, I'm seeing different things such as shirt sizes. It's honestly shocking to me that people have a 5XL t-shirt. Let me tell you, I had a discussion with this about a couple hours ago today, and it was with a nutritionist to some World's Strongest Man athletes. This guy works with some of the absolute strongest people on the planet, World's Strongest Man finalists, and he even said in his words, the only person on the entire planet that could fill out a 5XL t-shirt with muscle is Hafthor Bjornsson. So I just don't know, man. And I'm trying to say this with a little bit of love and respect, but how deep does it have to go for somebody to admit, whoa, maybe I'm going too far here? Is it the 3XL? Is it the 4XL? What is it? Is it an identity issue? Is it somebody's ego? Is being the literal biggest person in the entire room the most important thing for somebody? I don't know, but it's sort of embarrassing and humiliating, in my opinion, to be 450 pounds and only have the ability to shoulder a 300-pound sandbag. Let's put that in perspective. That's about 60% of your body weight. I'm walking around right now at about 180 pounds. That would be the equivalent of me picking up and shouldering a 120-pound sandbag. That's not impressive whatsoever, right? So that's that. Man, this leads into all sorts of different topics, but I don't want to say it irritates me, but I'm definitely put on notice. I'm doing a better job in letting some things pass. Here's a general life lesson for everybody. Not that I'm some perfect person, but we all have our faults sometimes, and we let these little things irritate us and annoy us more than they should. But you have to recognize things when they come up in you. So if you have something that's annoying you or irritating you, or you feel some type of way about it, the most important thing you can do is acknowledge it, accept it for what it is, understand it, face it, and then let it pass instead of just letting it bubble and think about it, think about it, think about it. What you shouldn't do is ignore it completely, because if you have somebody that's really irritating you, or you have an issue that you're dealing with in your life and you just try to ignore it, there's stuff happening inside of you that you're not dealing with. This happens in so many different levels. Where was I going with this? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this, but back to something that's going on in the world today is it's so interesting how people are way more interested in looking the part versus being the part. I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to be specifics, but if you know me and you know my world, then you probably know who I'm talking about. There's people that are desperate to be the biggest and the best, and this happens in promoting shows. They're desperate to have the biggest show, and they'll double down at any expense whatsoever and any words they can possibly come up with throughout a gigantic word salad to prove why theirs is actually the biggest and the best. I have never been one that's ever cared about that. Now let's look at the numbers. I actually have coming up over 114 people as of right now signed up for World's Strongest Manatee. That's the biggest strongman competition to ever happen in the state of Florida, right? Outside of OSG. That's a world championships, brought in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But not once has it ever been my mission to say, hey, I'm going to have the biggest show in Florida. The number one priority for me is that when people come to these shows, they leave saying, I want to come back. Now that I've been 5 years deep in this, I've run over 20 shows in Florida. I have this big pool of people that know they're guaranteed when they come to one of my shows, hey, this is probably going to be a pretty fun time. Or, worst case scenario, in my opinion, 80% of them are going to say that. And it's just weird. It's just like total detractor from things when you keep hyping up certain elements that don't really matter. Like, is it cool that you have certain trophies and like this and that? Yeah. Is it cool that you have flash and fanfare? Sure. But who are we marketing to? Just in reality, most people that are coming to World Strongest Manatee, over 110 of them, most people coming are doing this because they are pure hobbyists and passionate about getting stronger and want to express their strength and challenge their limits in a smaller setting. Very few of these people want to take it to the heights of OSG or a world championship. And I am not saying that's a negative whatsoever. It's not. Everybody's got their own path and their own things that they want to follow. For some, it's just having a really good time and showing out in front of their friends and families. For some people, I know because I've had these conversations, they want to prove to their children that they are capable of competing and holding their own strength in a big field with others. In other instances, some people just want to have fun and get as much fun strength experience as possible. This is where I'd like to give a salute to Harry Walker. If you guys know this guy, I mean, he competes at the very, very, very highest level, but it's much more important to him to just get out there and have a blast. I don't know how this guy juggles all these different competitions, because I'm going to see him in next weekend in Tallahassee at the Southeast Heritage Games. He signed up for America's Strongest Veteran, World's Strongest Operator, and he just did World's Strongest Firefighter. So he's got, 6 competitions in the span of all 4 of those. And he's just doing it to have a blast and have a fun time. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that he's very good at it. So you have all of these different styles. And what I think a big problem is in strongman, the way a lot of people approach this is that they're trying to market to the 0.1%, right? This is where we get into a problem with cash prizes. Are cash prizes cool? Yes. Who's actually got a chance at winning a cash prize? A tiny, 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 tiny percent of people, right? And with that, where does this cash come from? There was a competition that was here in Florida last October, and they announced 5,000 cash prize, $5,000 cash prize. So whatever they were thinking, I know what they were thinking. They're thinking they're hot shit and they're going to have the best show of all time. But you know what ended up happening? A former world's strongest man competitor and multiple time world record holder came and took the prizes. So when you're trying to market to, or when you're trying to fill competition, when you consider that 99.9% are hobbyists, and just normal people, no disrespect. I'm just saying, you're not bringing out the most elite world strongest man competitors to like an average local show in a parking lot in Florida, then you're going to have one or two people come out that completely game and rig it. They're not rigging it. They're just winning fair and square. It was Dimitar Savatinov. I don't care if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it was Static Monsters in Claremont in October. $5,000 cash prize. Dimitar came and honestly probably performed at about 75% and walked away with a big chunk of the cash prize. Who else won on the women's side? An in-house person. So, right, give me a break. It just is an overall problem of people. It's an interesting thing to balance because strongman by default is a sport that can be very ego driven. We all compete to get better, get stronger, and it's in a literal competition to see who can lift the most, who can be the fastest, who can throw the furthest. So we're having a measuring stick against other people. So it's very natural to fall into this I'm better than you or I'm going to be better than everybody else type of mindset. But only the people that find the true joy deep down in themselves and find that like level of self-love where they're driven by a pursuit to be the best version of themselves at all costs, completely outside of the outcome. It's only those people that rise to the very, very, very top. Look at Mitch Hooper. You can say whatever you want about lift heavy, be kind, but look at that guy's actual demeanor. What is it in him to keep going? It's not the drive to say, I'm going to kick everybody's ass. It's the drive to push himself as hard and as far as he can go because he believes in himself. It's not about being better than anybody else. Something I talk about a lot is the map of consciousness from the book Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And you have all of these different emotions and attitudes that impact you differently, right? So you have forces that act on you and you have powers that you can use to go above and beyond. So a lot of things such as envy, malice, anger, hate, a lot of these negative emotions, they're forces that are acting on you, but you can actually have a greater level of strength and energy with these positive connotations such as love, happiness, joy. And the thing that drives a lot of these is dream, pursuit, your ultimate number one dream and goal in life. And I think a lot of people are completely detached from that and they're fitting into things that they think they're supposed to do. Right? If you're 6'8", 400 pounds and you tell everybody in your entire life that you're one of the strongest people in the entire world, even, especially if you're lying, you're going to have a bunch of problems, man. Like what is fucking going on with you? I'm trying to dance around some specifics without saying too many specific things here. But a lot of people are just falling into what they think is cool or what they think they're supposed to do without actually having a genuine driving force behind it. This is why you see people much more interested in wearing a shirt that says they're so cool and strong than actually applying the process of getting strong. As I've gotten further along in my own journey, I wear less and less and less things with logos on it. I have a plain navy blue tank top on right now. None of this stuff matters to me whatsoever. Flash is nothing. It's style without substance. It's really all comes down to being about it and not talking about it. What's so interesting in the world of strongman is, right, your body is obviously such an important part of this. And I just don't understand. I just don't understand how somebody can get to a point where they can look at themselves in the mirror and not accept that they do not in any way look the part that they're supposed to look at. I have these posters all over in my office. I have stuff on the background of my phone. You can't see it. I have things over here. I have things over here. I have posters of Marius, Kazmaier. It's just like the same as when we were growing up, kids in our rooms. If you used to look at the muscle mags or you had a poster of Arnold on your wall, you know what we're trying to get after here. If you're somebody that wears expensive clothing, hides your fat double chin under a beard, and is you're a fat slob with zero muscle tone, and you're trying to run a group of people that tell other people how to coach strongman, like get real, dude. What a joke. I'm gonna read some of your comments real quick. I talked to one of the other guys competing in 90 kg last night. Yeah, right. It just seems like most dudes want everyone to do their best, hit PRs, and have fun. The awards will fall however they do. Right. At the first World's Strongest Manatee, believe it or not, we almost had fisticuffs in the parking lot over a scoring dispute. And, not that I'm going to make things, I will always make sure that everything is as fair as possible. Right. But at the end of the day, this is a strongman competition. We're not fighting each other over a life-changing amount of money. I'm not even really making money on this. Like, I got a lot of revenue that's coming in from this, but man, shirts got more expensive because it's actually $12 more per shirt to get individual names on the back of it. So that's $1,200 right out the gate. I have a whole lot of people. I have 14 divisions, so I have to get more trophies than ever before. I have to spend more money on. I had to get more equipment. I have to rent more equipment. I have to pay the venue fee. I have all these things that are going on here. So, if you were so gun freaking ho on like winning this, you've already lost. It took me a really, really long time to understand exactly what this meant. But we talk about with our goals that you need to be unattached from the outcome. But what does that mean? The outcome is just going to be what it is. But this is where these manifestation principles and practices come in. They say to truly manifest your future, you need to, some say, Nevellize it. That you have to emotionally charge the experience that you want to have, and that will come to you. Emotion is that vibration. That's where we get back into this power versus force thing. Your energy attracts like. So if you are somebody who exists in this state of, let's say, I'm so proud at how hard that I am working, I'm so proud of how far that I've come, you are significantly more likely to feel that at the competition, however it goes. Think about what that means. If you're leaving the day saying, I'm so proud of how hard I fought all day long, is it going to matter whether you won or lost? Probably not. Probably not. What do you think that's going to mean for your performance? Just think about, what that would mean for your outcome. If you left an event, you say, man, I PR'd absolutely everything. I had a great performance. I didn't make mistakes. But again, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the emotion tied to that. Then the chances of you actually winning are much higher. But you cannot focus on getting that first place because it just creates all of this external pressure on you. If you're saying, I'm going to win no matter what, then every little mistake that you make is going to have so much greater impact and take away from your focus. Instead, if you're focused on, I'm so proud of how hard I worked through the entire event, if you make a mistake, then our whole perspective changes. Let's take this farmer's walk coming up, for example. It's a big, long effort. It's 40 meters, right? Let's say you drop. You could have a drop and pick it up really quick, settle in, and still have an amazing performance. Look at Mid Trooper. Mid Trooper just won that timber carry despite dropping it. So if you're so concerned about having to win, you're probably going to have a little bit of panic set in. You'll say, oh, fuck, or whatever, right? Instead of being so composed that you can go through any roadblock. So this is what we're talking about, right? I'm all over the place. I hope you guys are still following me. Um, there's just so many things that I think strongman is such an addicting drug. Strength training is such an addicting drug. And I was talking about this with one of my clients earlier today. He was, side story. He's seeing this new girl, and she gave him this book about spells and mantras and words that you can use, and it's just all energy. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Energy, just like magic, it is neither good nor bad. It is however you use and however you apply it. Strength training can be a cope and a getaway to basically just put a band-aid over some of your problems, or it can be something that propels you to this unbelievably high level of personal development. Right, for me, this was, for so long I walked this path where I thought I was the hottest shit around. I used to only train as a personal trainer and work in these corporate gyms, and I thought because I was a power lifter, I was stronger than everybody else. I knew better than everybody else. It was really, really very nasty of me, but um, that was my process. I learned, and I also was stuck in these habits of thinking because I had such a good upbringing that I knew all there was I needed to know. I was coached for a long time by Josh Bryant from Jailhouse Strong. In my opinion, and I think just looking at the hard numbers, I'd be happy to have a friendly debate on this. Josh is maybe the best, or if not the best, one of the top 5 best strength coaches on the entire planet. Right? Just look at that guy's list of clients. I was lucky enough to work under him, and I thought for so long, I don't need to know anything else because look at all the other people succeeding here. That was so stupid of me, right? That's why for years my overhead pressing didn't go up for even it didn't go up at all whatsoever. It was only when I finally said, wow, I can deadlift like the best, I can yoke carry like the best, I can farmers carry like the best, and I overhead press among the worst at the local level. It's only when I started to think, well, what am I going to do about that I started looking outside myself, outside my systems. I had to have a complete paradigm shift and understand that this past system that I was doing up to that point was not getting me where I needed to go. So I changed course, and here I am. So far going okay. Let's see how it keeps going. This is why I just got into weightlifting. I've gotten to this certain point, but I'm missing things. I'm missing things that's keeping me from going even higher. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to keep doing the same crap and double down on this level you're at now? Or are you going to get creative and get outside of yourself and become something greater? But let's reel it back in a little bit. What you do is up to you, right? So thinking about all those things that I just said, are you going to use your strength as something to just be perfectly content with? Because look, if I never got anywhere else past my plateau point, about really only about 3 years ago, look, man, I could deadlift 700 pounds. I could bench twice my body weight. That puts me in 1% of the entire world, right? And I could go and wag and wag and wag and wag about that all day long. That's amazing. That's impressive. I'm never going to shoot down anybody's accomplishments because things like that are impressive. And I still give myself a very good pat on the back. Well done. But that's not my goal. My goal is to be the absolute best, greatest version of myself. If I have a 385 bench press and I struggle to push press 225, something's clearly wrong. So I was fortunately able to pull my head out of my butt and realize that there's this powerful force inside me that I've been able to cultivate through strength training that needs to be channeled differently. That's why I hired Max McCall, my coach. It's been going on for almost 2 years, and we're really doing amazing things together. So, wow, I went in a whole new direction. But before we keep going here, does anybody have any controversial opinions that they want to bring up or something I can rap about? Because I got plenty, but this went in a whole different direction. Going through some of these comments, Mark Cox, I believe mass moves mass to a certain point. Coming from a weightlifting perspective, I truly believe strength is a CNS response in muscle recruitment. I shouldn't be a one trick pony with size. It's so true. I am stronger competing at the U80 kilo, 176-pound weight class than I ever was at 220 or 240. Believe it or not, at one point in my life, I weighed 255. Crazy. I got up to that in 17. Um, Dane Celtec. So I've got a couple of really crazy bulking stories from my past. When I was in high school, I kind of fell for the trap of once again, didn't it's all fine, but thinking that I had to load creatine and follow diets of these elite bodybuilders that I really idolized. So at one point, I did the Tom Platz diet, and that was eating 4 pounds of meat a day and drinking a gallon of milk on top of that every day. I gained 14 pounds in 14 days. Didn't work. I'm sure there was some muscle in there, but probably a pound, pound and a half at most, right? Think about all that dairy on my stomach. Oh man, my mom must have been pissed at that food bill running up when I was a kid. Um, I also then did Celtec. I don't know if anybody here ever did Celtec. Celtec had 65 to 70 grams of sugars in every single serving. And they said because this is a creatine product, you have to load it. So for the first 2 weeks, you need to take 3 servings a day. So that means at that point, I was having, before anything else, 210 grams of sugars every single day before anything else in my diet. Of course, I was eating big, like a knucklehead on top of that, but it's all good. Yeah, right. So some people dropping in here. So Chapel, because I'm a dad husband with Bill's mortgage. I'm an amateur with goals, but if I can't pick up my baby and do a step up to a 24-inch box with them in my arms, I'm losing a life. Right. Right. What's really most important, right? Like having fun, being with the community. Matt Anderson, looking forward to having you down. Says it's a community for me, man. I've made a ton of friends competing. Probably talk to them more than I do most local friends. That's definitely true for me. The people I talk to the most of them are my strongman people. So, it's good stuff. I could ramble on and on and on and on and on, as you know, as I've already got about 30 minutes straight of just rattling stuff here. But I said I was going to talk about controversial strongman opinions. I don't know if any of this is that controversial. I've just been feeling some type of way about a handful of some of this stuff. I think that we as a sport, as a community, are moving in a very good direction where we're seeing more athletes. We're seeing some really, really incredible people stepping in that are fit, can cross over. I'm really glad that Mark is here because Mark was a D1 swimmer. Mark is a very tremendous weightlifter. Mark does jujitsu. Mark is coming into World's Strongest Man team. It was your third strongman competition now. I mean, this guy is all over the place while he's doing. I mean, shit, dude. Getting married, gonna have a baby soon. You're leading up an organization that helps kids without a dad. I mean, it's incredible, man. This is really what it's about. Is like I think that strongman needs to. When I say this, I'm saying that I'm putting more efforts and resources into the everyday people that this sport can massively improve their quality of life. The reason that I got into strongman is just because it was really truly at the end of the day about personal growth, and it was not about being the biggest and the baddest dude in the entire world. One of the reasons that I personally want to be so good is I just desire to lead from the front. I think it's so worthless to be somebody that wants to put themselves in a leadership position if you have not clearly demonstrated a lot regularly that you're willing to go the extra mile. This means many things. It doesn't have to be all of these different things, but I'm involved as a coach. I'm trying to put together this unparalleled community, the Strongman Club, that's giving people as much good access to top information as possible. I'm working to put on the best shows that there are. And again, when I'm saying the best, it's not about being better than anybody else. It's just about delivering an unparalleled experience I want to be all over. I'm going up to Tallahassee next weekend to help judge and volunteer at a competition. You just have to be about that life, man. And that's what makes this sport so amazing is that we really truly do have like 99% of the people that are involved with this are incredible people. I mean, everybody that's here watching now, I guarantee, I mean, I know that we got Mark Chappell, Matt Anderson. I don't know you personally yet. We've connected a few times online. Sean Fennelly's in the building. Like all of us that are in here, we're just trying our absolute best to be, oh my gosh, we're just trying our absolute best to be the best people we can be for our friends, our family, our community. So let me get back on point here. As I've said probably 3 times now, my brother says he's going to need a 10XL shirt for the comp. You know, again, at one point, how far do you got to let it slip before you realize, hey, maybe this is going too far? Anyways, new era of strongman. This is what I'm trying to do. My absolute best to create is just a community of people that are pushing it to the highest level and holding ourselves to the highest standard. This is why competing is so important, is because you are forced to be held to standards of some sort. It's just like everything else. When you have to apply to one area, it's more automatic to come to other places in your life. This is why I have my cold plunge. I was not good about it for a little while, but it's very true. The more that I discipline myself to get in that thing, even when I don't want to, then I will have that discipline and that mental fortitude to push into all the other things in my life. So, my call to everybody here is continue to keep your standards high and hold other people accountable. It's not calling them out, it's calling them up. I listened to a lot of this Wes Watson guy, and while I probably would not care to hang out with that guy, he says a lot of good stuff. And one of them is, I'm not calling you out, I'm calling you up. Because we are meant for more than this. This is why all this stuff can sometimes drive me crazy when I think about these people in the 5XL shirts, or I think about, these fat boys that wear expensive clothing, have a double chin hidden by a beard and an expensive haircut, that are trying to, trying to support the sport or whatever. It's like, if you actually had any idea of what hard work and strength together was like, you would be acting totally differently. So that's out. Keep working your hardest. Find your people, find your tribe that are going to hold you accountable and help you lift yourself to the highest standard, because we're all capable of such incredible things. What I've been able to do in my own personal life is far beyond what I thought I'd ever achieve. And the crazy thing is that I know I'm not done. I know there's more for me to take. I never thought I'd get 100 people for a strongman competition. That's crazy. I never thought I'd be having a strongman competition on the field at a freaking NFL stadium. That is crazy. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But let me tie this back in once again to how being unattached to your outcomes is so important, but being attached to your desired state is so incredibly important, right? When you focus in on the experience and how exciting you want to be and how fun you want it to be, that is what you're going to create. When you're focused on how proud you're going to be with all your hard work, you're going to instill that every day into your training, into your work, into everything that you do. And you're going to start to find that you have naturally things come to you more and more and more that give you the opportunity to feel that way. And you will just naturally apply yourself and know that you are walking the right path that you're supposed to walk. If you just sit around and lie to yourself about where you are in the world and what you're doing, then you're just going to be constantly upset in this state of cognitive dissonance. And I truly believe in this concept of physiognomy. your emotions, the way you feel about yourself, your attitudes, and your habits, beyond just body fat percentage, they shape the way your face looks, the way your posture holds. I say this many times, but if you were to think right now of the saddest person that you know, what is their posture? Head slouched forward, shoulders are rounded, compared with the happiest, proudest person you can think of, up tall, head up, chest up, probably got a firm jaw. Maybe not, but just think about that. They hold different physical characteristics. So, holding ourselves to high standards is just so important in every single way because we can have this unbelievable compound effect in every part of our lives. We can look amazing, we can perform amazing, we can have great success in our lives in every pursuit that we want to do. It's just a big energetic effect that we have when we hold ourselves to these high standards. And I think to a point, we have to be firm on the people that are not doing that to a point. Because at some point, I had a conversation, unfortunately, about this with somebody the other day. They're separating from their partner because they're going on different paths. This person wants to, be better and do better. At some point, you do just have to truly remove yourself from the situation. There's going to be a lot of people that don't change and never will change. And whether it's somebody close to you or whether it's just somebody in your community that's just adjacent to you, it takes courage and it takes strength to just know that this is not good for me. See you later. I wish you the best. That's all you can do. We're all walking our own path. There's room for everybody on this train up to the top, but you got to be fully on board or else I don't want you here. That's that. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Pretty much just freeballed for 36 minutes here. Appreciate you guys all tuning on. Jonathan Chappell says, my sign is 3XL. One time me and my wife ordered matching shirts. Mine was a different shade of yellow because they had to use a different material to make my size. Then I sent a picture of the shirt to my father-in-law, and he thought it was a blanket. Oh, rough. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate you all jumping on. I know it's just a bit of me rambling, but, great. Here we go. Incredibly off topic. Sorry. Any of the Tampa locals have a couple spots to grab good refeed or post comp meals. Driving 11 hours, so I'd like something good after weigh-ins. Matt, I'll look around a little bit for you. There's a lot of stuff near Raymond James. So yeah, definitely a lot of good stuff around there, but I'll send you some info. I'll take a look around. I was gonna actually send out a little info sheet on that coming up. So had that. But if anybody's knows any good spots, Tampa food spots near Raymond James for post comp or refeed, let me know. Yeah, we will have Caitlin with Strong IV. She'll be there, just kind of finalizing the details on that, but she's locked in. She'll be there. So IVs will be available. Just kind of waiting on the full final details, but the weigh-in location is going to be at a gym called House of Athlete. It's about 2.5 miles from the venue. So we'll be ready to go, ready to rock. That's that. So, all right, guys, I am going to sign off. Check out Alabama Strongman live stream in about 20 minutes on the Ellison Fitness Innovations channel. I'm going to drop it in the chat right here. They're going to be talking to Tyler Davis tonight, and Ellison Fitness Innovations is also who's going to be live streaming World's Strongest Manatee. So give them a follow, support what they're doing. They do tons of Strongman live streams. Awesome guys. Chuck Ellison, that's up there. Dude's a man. And he's doing our live stream. So appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Rest up, train hard, get after it, and stay strong.